In this lecture, we will go ahead to discuss the routing system in Next.js 14. And so, let's talk about the app router. Next.js implements a file system-based routing techniques in which the URL path within the browser tab is controlled by the file and folders within your code base. Sounds tricky, right? Don't worry. When we begin to practicalize it, you will definitely understand it well enough. Take note of this key point. In Next.js 14, when a folder is created within the app directory, that folder automatically becomes a route when a page.ts or a page.js is created within. So following the Next.js 14 routing convention, in order to implement a route, you must definitely have to create a folder within the app directory. So let's assume we are building a real-world website where we need a contact page and a profile page. Command B to open up the Explorer. Within the app directory, right-click and then New Folder. We are going to call it Contacts, just like this. Another one, within the app, right-click, New Folder, and this will be called Profile. Having done this, let's check it out on the browser to see if it is routable. Go back to the browser, and here I'm going to do localhost port 3000/contact. When you hit on the enter key, it says it throws back a 404 error not found page. You know why? It is simply because we have to create a page.tss or .js within the contact folder. That exactly is when this folder will become a route. So right click, new file, and we are going to do page.tss. Within RFC to generate the React functional component. Contact page. You can use a h1 tag if you want. Take a look. Now, when you check out the browser, you are going to see the contact page. Let's route the profile page. So I'm going to do localhost 3000/profile. When you hit on the enter key, it returns a 404 error not found page. And I guess by now, you should know exactly what to do at your end. Pause the video and implement the profile route. Let me help you with that. Within the profile directory, right-click, new file, and we are going to call it page.tsx. Simply because we are using TypeScript, that is why we are going with the .tss extension. Hit on the enter key, again RFC to generate the React functional component. Here I'm going to do profile page. Let's implement it within the h1 tag. Cut this, paste it within, and boom. All right, save on the browser. Can you see now? Now the page is visible. Okay, so you can give the h1 tag a class name, and then we're going to do text-9xl. This Tailwind utility class simply means we are increasing the font size to 8 rem. When you save and check out the browser, and boom, can you see? It becomes very bold like this. So now this exactly is how to implement routing in Next.js. We can also route to the contact page, just like this, and boom. Can you see? So take note of these key points. Routes are associated with the files based on the containing folder's name within the app directory. So a page.ts within the contact folder will map to /contact, and a page.tss within the profile folder will map to /profile. And that is why when you come here and do /contact, you get the contact page. Matter of fact, we can actually give it a background color so you understand what we're talking about. So here, let's give this div a class name. And then within the class name, we are going to make use of the utility class bg-yellow-500. When you save and check out the browser, and here is the contact page. So in summary, each folder within the app directory corresponds to a URL segment when a page with a .ts or a .js extension is created within. Teaching good? Beautiful. In the previous lecture, we discussed the file-based routing feature in Next.js. So in this lecture, we are going to proceed with nested route. So let's take, for example, you are building a reward application where you need to implement different users page, right? So we are going to have the admin user and the client user. So let's assume the admin user will be the first user, and then the second user will be the client user. Let's practicalize this example. Within the app, we are going to create a new folder called users. So we are building an application where we need to implement different users page. Within the users, we are going to have another folder called first user. Again, within the users, we are going to have second user. In simplicity, we are nesting these two routes within the users. Don't worry, you will definitely understand the gist. So having done this, we have to right click on the first user, and then we are going to create a page.tss RFC to generate the functional component. Let's quickly give this div a class name, and then we are going to have a bg-yellow-800. And within, we are going to have a h1 tag, first user. Save. So here on the browser, we are going to do /users/first user. And boom, here is it. Can you see? So now let's implement it for the second user. Within the second user, right click, create a new file, and I'm going to do page.tsx. Generate the functional component quickly. And here, we're going to have a h1 tag, second user. Let's give the class name text-9xl. Okay, when you save and check out the browser, so we have to target /users/second user. Take a look. Can you see? So this exactly is how to implement a nested route in Next.js. Simple as that. In the previous lecture, we discussed the nested route. So we created the users folder, and within the users folder, we nexted the first user and the second user. And within, we have a page.tss, which corresponds to the URL part /user/first user and /user/second user. Though this approach works perfectly fine, but when building a reward application, it is not always possible to define a route based on a predefined path. So let me quickly break it down using a reward example. This is the elegant and super fast Next.js portfolio website that we are going to build in this course. And by the way, the link is right within the description. So I highly encourage you to enroll. There is so much value to learn from it. So here I have listed some of the blog posts, right? Now, if I click on any of the item, we should be able to pass down the item into a new page. Let me show you. For example, when I click on this guy, take a look. If you observe the URL, you are going to see app/portfolio detail/0. It means this item has the ID of 0. Let's give it a try with another item. So let's go back home. Okay, let me try it on this guy. Now, if you observe the path, you will see app/portfolio detail/5. It simply implies this item has the ID of 5. So the dynamic routing system made it possible for us to be able to pass this item down into a new page. And with the help of the ID, we are able to fetch the corresponding data. Can you see? At the left, you can see the corresponding data to this item. So this exemplifies the dynamic routing system. Haven't discussed all of this? Quickly head on to VS Code and let's practicalize it. Back to VS Code. So we are going to create a new folder called blog. So within the blog, we are going to create a page.tss. So I'm going to do /page.tss. So this is a shortcut to create a folder and a page within. So when you hit on the enter key, here is the blog. Can you see? And here is the page.tss. Generate the functional component. What we should do right now is to render a blog post. And the way we can do that right here, we are going to use the h1 tag. And I'm going to do blog post 1. Like this. Highlight. Duplicate it 8 times. Then change here to blog post 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you save the project, go back to the browser and let's see what we have. Okay, we have to navigate to the demo app. And I'm going to do /blog. Take a look. Now we have been able to render the blog post on the browser. So the next in line is to click on any of the item and then pass it down to a new page. And that exactly is where the dynamic routing comes in. Now go back to the project. So within the blog folder, right click, we are going to create a new folder called blog ID. To create a dynamic route, we have to wrap up the name of the folder within a square bracket. So the square bracket signifies a dynamic route. Now I'm going to do blog ID. Simple as that. Or you can do post ID. Okay, let's do post ID. Maybe it is more readable like that. Post ID. Within the post ID, right click, and then we are going to create a new page. This will be called page.tsx. Generate the functional component. So here we are going to have a h1 tag, and I'm going to do details page. When we click on any of the blog item, we should be able to pass it down into the details page. When you save and check out the browser, now we are going to do /blog/ for example, we are going to do 1. When you hit on the enter key, and now you see the details page. And when you do /blog/100, you are going to see the details page as well, /800, or whatever ID that you have within your project. So you're going to see the details page. I think we should bring it up a little bit. We are making progress and I like it. So in simplicity, Next.js treats a square bracket as a dynamic segment that enables us to create a dynamic route. So when a folder is wrapped up within the square bracket, you do not need to reference the folder within the URL before you could get the content within the page. So the essence of dynamic route is to be able to extract the ID of a post and then work on the post individually. So for example, let's go back to the first demo. So if you extract the ID of this content, when you click, based on the ID, we will be able to perform some operation on it. So we will be able to fetch the corresponding data. We can also delete and do whatever we want to do with the data. So now let me show you how to extract the ID. In Next.js, Every page in the app router receives a route params as probes. So within the page, make sure you open up the post ID like this and then page.ts. Within the function, so we are going to take in params as probes. So having done this, the next in line is to bind it with the UI. Extremely easy to do that. So within the h1 tag, we are going to open and close the curly brackets. And within the curly bracket, I'm going to do params dot post ID. Simple as that. Take note. The dynamic segment we created must correspond with the UI. Okay, so whatever you have within this dynamic segment as the post ID, that exactly is what you will have here. Okay, so please make sure the spelling is correct because this is exactly what we are referencing. Yeah, and we are trying to bind this stuff here with the UI in order to extract the ID. Simple as that. So the application is complaining we have to define the type. The params is an object with a key called post ID and the type is string. That exactly is how to define your type when working with TypeScript. Here we're going to do params. So the object has a post ID with the type string. And now we have satisfied the type. So let's check it out on the browser. Now I'm going to do /blog/200. Take a look. Can you see? Now we have details page 200. So this is the ID. We are grabbing it from the URL. Let me show you something. Here, let's give the class name. And then I'm going to do text-9XL. Beautiful. Let's make it more readable. Details page with the ID and boom. So we have details page with the ID 200. Let's check another one. Let's do 17. Details page with the ID 17. And then we can do 800 and so on and so forth. Now we've been able to grab the ID from the URL. We can then begin to work on the post. This is all for now, and if you find this lecture helpful, make sure to smash the like button and otherwise hit subscribe. Nested dynamic route. When building a complex application, you will definitely come across a scenario in which several dynamic route segments are required. Let me show you an example from the real world website. Okay, this is the real world website, of course. We have seen that when you click on this item, we were able to pass it down into a new page, right? Beautiful. So now what we want to do is to also fetch a comment that was written about the post. Understood? For example, you click, it opens up into a new page, fetching the details by the ID. Okay, and then when you scroll down, we should be able to see the comment written about this post. Okay, good. So if we want to specify the route, we can do /portfolio detail /0/comment/0. Understood? Beautiful. Go back to the code and let's implement it quickly. As the name implies, all we have to do is to create a new folder within the post ID. So here is the blog. You have to open it up. Within the post ID, right click, create a new folder, and we will call these comments. Within the comments, right click, create a new folder. And in this time, we want to create a nested dynamic route. So to create a dynamic route, all you have to do is to wrap it up in a square bracket. And then we are going to do comment ID, just like this. And within the comment ID, right click, we have to create a page within page.tsx. So here we're going to do RFC to generate the functional component. So now we are trying to get the comments written about a particular post. So we created a folder called comment within the post ID, and within the comment, we created our dynamic route. And here is the page within. So for a given post ID, a page.tss within the comments folder, which is this guy, will help to display the post review by its ID. Let's practicalize it. So within, of course, we have to take in the params. And what will be the params now? Of course, the params is an object with the post ID and the comment ID. Having done this, let's come here and do something. Okay, let's use the h1 tag. Within, I'm going to do params dot comment ID. Let me show you. Please, it has to be these, okay? Oops, take a look. We have spelled something wrongly over here. There's need to be grammatically exact. So let's remove the N like this. So this is comment ID. You can leave it, but there's need to be grammatically exact, honestly. So what I'm going to do now is to close down the Explorer, and then we have the params dot comment ID. So this params is the URL segment over here for the comment ID, which is the dynamic segment here. Okay, and it must be exactly the same spelling over here when you are trying to bind it here. Okay, so we have params dot comment ID, which is the dynamic segment we created. Trying to explain it simply so that everyone understands it well enough. And then here we're going to do for blog posts params dot post ID. When you save and check out the browser, blog slash the ID is 1 slash comment slash 1. And here you have comment 1 for blog post 1. So if you do here, for example, 800, then you are going to see comment 800 for blog post 800. So this exactly is how to implement it. Go back to the code. We have to satisfy this type before we close the lecture. Of course, params is an object. The post ID is type string. The comment ID is also type string. And then the type is satisfied. The errors are all gone. Okay. This is all for now. And if you find this lecture helpful, make sure to smash the like button, and otherwise hit subscribe.